There were many of them have bit the dust, and I'd love to hear from people. Do you still buy magazines? They're so expensive these days, as you know.
Yes, but they're sort of diluted, aren't they? Playboy is not what it used to be.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, a lot of them are waging a real war.
Yes, and yet you walk into a newsagent and there are thousands of different magazines on display. Surely they can't all succeed. So I'd like to know, do you still buy magazines? Do you read them? Which ones do you prefer? The Women's Weekly's been a perennial favourite, hasn't it, forever?
Oh, yeah.
I think New Idea, Woman's Day, they're still successful.
Oh, very much so.
But several have gone by the wayside in the last few years because of the electronic print.
Now, the cast of Friends are reuniting for a TV special.
Yeah.
And it prompts the question, I suppose, in all talk programs, who would you like to see bring back and recreate your own favourite TV show?
Oh, yes.
Now, they're bringing back the X-Files.
Yeah.
Are they going to be as big as they were? Because they were huge, Phil.
Yes, they were. Depends who's in it, I suppose, Bruce.
Well,
and the standard of the writing.
Yeah, but no, the originals are coming back.
No,
It
yes,
doesn't matter who's in it.
Cool. All be a bit old hat now, couldn't it?
Or is it all over once it's over? Are we kidding ourselves to think, oh, well, you could bring Friends back or you could bring Bewitched back?
That's right.
Are you kidding yourself? Are you not being honest with yourself?
I think you'd rather remember the original series.
When does it run its course? When does the end come and they pull the plug and they say no more?
Yeah, it's very hard to make that decision because people are greedy. They think, I will squeeze every ounce out of it.
Yeah, but they don't. Tell me the show that they brought back, they recreated, that was a #1 success. What was it? Is there such an animal?
I mean, here's a good question for you because you're a devotee of the show. Has Downton Abbey run its course? Has that been going too long?
Of course it has.
There's still one more series to be seen in Australia.
It has.
I think it's at 8th season.
It's run its course.
Right, so, you should know when to call it a day, I think.
But, you know, it's the old adage, leave them wanting more. Really leave them on a top. Leave them, on a pinnacle.
Yes, you should know when to walk away.
So let's recreate, let's do it, and then, oh, we're going to pull the plug.
Yeah, let's recycle it and give it another lease of life.
That's right.
You know, there are exceptions. Look at the success of the Star Wars franchise. I mean, they keep bringing back trilogies and preludes.
Yeah,
and
a little bit different in movies.
Okay, so we're talking
I think movies are a little bit different. Perhaps people could tell us what the difference is.
Yes. Yes, and why you're happy to see, one James Bond movie every 2 years, as you've been doing for the last 30 years. Movies versus TV. What TV series would you like to see resurrected?
I'm going to ask you a question. Has James Bond run its course?
Obviously
now,
not.
Is that sacrilegious to say that? Oh, heavens above. Has it run its course?
You see, it hasn't because every
crit that I've read of this latest James Bond film...
Spectre.
Yeah. Thumbs down, 2 stars, seen better.
It's the only James Bond movie I haven't bothered to go and see.
Me too.
The only one.
Me too, and I'd love them all.
Yeah, and yet they'll reinvent the character and they'll get rid of Daniel Craig and put in Hugh Jackman and then it'll have a new lease of life.
Yeah.
That's the way it works, isn't it?
But it'll be the same old James Bond and, and it'll get it's not as good as the last one.
The same old cliches. And
so it's a bit sad that we have to drain the very lifeblood out of these things and say, it's had us today.
Yeah, we don't have that many original ideas. I blame it on the writers. It's a lack of good writing that kills a lot of these shows. I believe.
Any criticism at anyone.
Yeah.
Freely Wangaratta, good evening, and 2Q and Eloquent welcoming you to Nightline for this very special Friday night edition.
Yeah, very precious to be with you tonight, as it is always, and Friday's rather special somehow.
Now, Anthony, good evening, Anthony.
Good evening, Bruce and Phil. I'll let you know how my job's going. It's not too good, Phil. About my job, they said that it might put me on call, so I don't want to be on call knowing I haven't got a car. It's a bit awkward to be on call all the time, when you do a lollipop. I had a meeting with the council today, so I'm going to be sober when I show up on Monday, because I've decided, I had a meeting with the council today, see what they want to do. They got sorted our central management by Friday. And now they said maybe I'll be on call, but on call, like I said, it's a bit awkward knowing you haven't got a car. And I decided to resign on Monday, so only problem if I don't do nothing, Bruce, until I hit the grog and I get really a lot in trouble. And, you know, when I'm drinking, it gets me so much in trouble when I'm drinking. I don't know why. I get really in trouble when I'm drinking. I can't control my drinking, and I've got a serious drinking problem. So since I lost my mother and my dad's got dementia, my dad's got dementia. He's 87, my dad. So. Yes. It is by himself, so and I love your program, Bruce and Phil, because I've got no family, and I listen to you every night. I love doing you on Sunday at 8 o'clock because you come out at 8. So,
yes.
I love your program, Bruce and Phil, so I listen. Thank you very much for your chat.
Okay, thanks, Anthony. It's 10:15, 3AW. This is Nightline. Anything you'd like to talk about? Are you reading magazines? Are they a thing of the past? Or what would you like to see reunited on television? What offends you on television? Ricky Gervais said some offensive things on the Golden Globes.
Yes.
Levelled at Caitlyn Jenner, Mel Gibson, Matt Damon. Are we not offended anymore?
But that's why they have him on, because he's controversial.
That's right.
Because the show rates.
So do we know that this man who's hosting the program is going to be offensive, and that's what appeals to us?
Yeah, he's been on at least 4 times.
So are we offended and don't do anything about it?
I don't think we're offended, but those stars might be if they're sensitive.
Well, I don't think so.
They might be a bit hurt by his barbs. No, maybe not.
Oh, don't show any harm. Don't show any hurt.
Yeah, no, I think he's a breath of fresh air, because most of those award shows are so boring anyway. Gives it a bit of
So you don't
life.
mind offence?
Well, yes, if it's blasphemous or profane.
No, but if you're offended, or you're offended by somebody, a comment in the room.
Oh, well, no, I've been, insults have been bouncing off my shoulders all my career. No, I'm not sensitive to that. But some people obviously are artistic, and they're shattered if the illusions are broken. But that's if you're in the business. Tough luck, you have to cop it sweet, don't you, Bruce?
I think you do.
Got no choice.
But at one time, you would take that to the censors board, you take it to the censorship board, you would take it to management, and there'd be, heads roll.
Yeah, I think Ricky is smart enough to know where to draw the line. He's not dropping 4-letter words and doing racist gags and things like that. He's mainly aiming at personal insults, but like the way Don Rickles works.
All right, what is offensive then? Is it a racist comment? Is that an offensive thing? Is it crude or fall on a word? What is offensive? Perhaps nothing is today.
You see, what might be offensive to you might just go over my head. So
absolutely.
We all have different values, don't we?
Well, you're so right.
Yes. Yeah. So tell us what you think, folks. 96900 693.
A couple of juicy topics. Come on, get off that armchair. Do something about yourself Friday night. It's 10:17. To make contact with us tonight, give us a call. 96900 693, 96900 693. Bob at Dingley, good evening.
Bruce, your co-respondent there was totally right. Don Rickles. He would rip people apart.
Yes.
He never had... he didn't care who they were.
That's right.
Don Rickles.
Yes, and gets away with it, yeah.
Yeah, he got away with it. You're right.
Does he amuse you, Bob?
Oh, I loved him.
Oh, yes?
He had that horrible-looking face that twisted and turned, and he could make people cringe in those days. Like, Cross, that was, 20 years ago.
He's still going strong, hasn't given it away.
Is he really?
Oh, yes, he's still...
Seriously?
Oh, yes, he's still part of the business, yes, very much so.
Oh, didn't know.
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's...
All right, Bob.
I thought I'd have one on you, but your partner there jumped in and...
No, the point to make is well, that was an era, wasn't it? It was the era of the roasts.
Ah, you're right.
They would do them in Las Vegas, they'd do them in Chicago, right across America.
That's right, people like Dean Martin be the subject of a roast.
We all know. But what happened to them? Was that a passing phase?
Yeah, I think so, because, as I say, people have become too touchy, too sensitive. Oh, you can't go down that path anymore. No. Somebody might be hurt.
So is it PC, political correctness?
Unfortunately, yeah, gone crazy, I believe.
So it's not the people, it's not the topic, it's not the subject.
No, it's just generally, have to watch your P's and Q's. I gave Simon something hilarious to put up on Facebook. I can't go into details now, but it's terribly harmless. He said, "Oh no, that would offend some people. It's politically incorrect." It was about a bloke looking at some beach umbrellas and thinking he was talking to a tribe about their culture.
Oh.
And it was very funny. But Simon thought, no, it might be just
So
borderline.
are we getting too touchy? Is the art of comedy like what we laugh at normally as Australians, because we are a very laughable, humorous race?
Yes.
Are we losing that
Yeah, I think we are.
that humour?
We loved sending ourselves up, didn't we?
Yes.
And each other, you know?
But now you start doing that, people say, "Oh,
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing that."
So even today, some of Paul Hogan's material might be a bit, questionable.
Well, very much so.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
Yeah, on the buses, all those.
Yes,
Miriam
good.
Carlin. What was the thing she did?
Rag trade.
Yeah. Kyra at Seaford, good evening.
Hello, Bruce and Phil. How are you, boys?
Yeah, good. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, Bruce and Phil, you're talking about magazines. It's sad about Cleo, but I wasn't into that. I like the new idea, Woman's Weekly. That too, they're very expensive though today, but
Yes.
I still read them.
Yeah.
And they're all right, But Cleo, no, I'm not into that. But all the other magazines, the TV Week, and I like the Woman's Weekly and that too, and
Yes.
other magazines. What's going on? What's going on with people on the TV shows and everything.
Yeah, but
And,
you better to wait till you go to a doctor's waiting room or the dentist and read an old magazine for nothing.
Yeah, probably,
great
Phil.
idea.
But in those days you used to buy them for about $1.50, $2. Now they're $6, $7, $8 now.
Oh, yeah, easy. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, another topic, Bruce and Phil, you're talking about TV shows. I'd like to see Hey Hey It's Saturday come back.
All right. Well, maybe it will.
Would you? Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, a reunion, Bruce and Phil. I've been to that show a couple of times years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, there's often talk that it will be revived.
Or I will put a tick against Hey Hey It's Saturday as a likely revival.
Please, quickly. Tomorrow in Frankston, it's a Frankston Sea Festival on Saturday and Sunday.
All right. What's
Yeah, it's on from 11 o'clock to about 6. That's tomorrow and Sunday. They've got the sandcastle sculpture there. And,
Oh, they're wonderful. That's
they'll probably have the lovely likes of the lovely Peter Hitchner and Channel 9 there and Channel 7 and music and everything like they did last year and the
all
year
right.
before.
Okay, we'll make a note of that for tomorrow at Frankston. Thank you, Kyra. Steve at Greenvale. Yes, good evening.
G'day, guys.
Yeah, good day.
Speaking of magazines, we used to buy, the ones like Women's Day and TV Week and so forth. Grew out of them eventually. I guess, it wasn't the price so much. It just became irrelevant because, for example, I used to buy a magazine called Men's Health, and that goes for about $12.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and, it's full of muscle, bodybuilding and that sort of stuff. And you can find half the information online, guys, for free.
Yeah, yes.
That's one of the factors that I stopped buying, and I thought, well, I'm not going to pay for it when I can find it for free anyway. So that was one of the factors. Other than that, like my mother, she still gets one magazine, which I buy for her. And, in 1 year it's gone from $4 to $5, so $1 increase, and not much difference in the magazine, but she still wants it, so I keep buying it for her. But
What is that magazine, Steve?
because she's Greek, she likes to keep in touch with the Greek news, so it's called the Ellinis.
Oh, I see. It's a Greek newspaper.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
It's produced in Sydney, but, like I said to her, if you like it, I'll keep buying it, but, $4 to $5 with no substantial change at all in the magazine, so I guess you just have to keep paying for it.
Yeah, yes, you're right.
In terms of TV shows, guys, I'd like to see Blankety Blanks come back.
Yeah. And who would you like to see comparing it?
Well, I don't know. I haven't thought of that, but there's so many people that are not working regularly who are still sort of in their, well, no, maybe not so much in their prime, but still entertaining, like people in their 50s or 60s who can be quite funny and witty, and I think you can fill up that panel quite quick, Bruce and Phil.
I think that Grant Denyer would be ideal for it.
Oh, no, not every show, please. I like him on the show, but I don't want him doing everything like, Eddie Maguire everywhere.
No. Okay.
Other than that, guys, I just wanted to say, finally, someone called Tom Elliott's program, and I think they were talking about what you're talking about roughly, about people who get offended quite easily and in conversation. Remember the days, guys, you could express your opinion, and it may be different to yours. It might even be quite offensive. It might even be disgusting. But you'd accept it and say, all right, that's your opinion. This is mine. You don't... These days, it's I'm offensive, and I'm offended, and I'm going to report you, or I'm going to take legal action, or something like that. I think we've gone from having a conversation and accepting one person's opinion, and working from there, and to now where it's I'm offended, I'm taking action, I want you to resign, or I'm going to get you sacked, or something like that. I think it's just gone too far. I'm a migrant. And I've been offended that many times since I left school and started working. But there's no way I can remember at any instant where I took action, where I reported them, where I went to equal opportunity, where I did this. I just said that's how they are. You can't legislate for how people think. They might be stupid. They might be offensive. They might be discriminating. They might even be racist. But that's how they are. You can't change people like that. They have to change on their own, in their own good time. Don't you agree?
I think I do agree with that, and I think there was an expression that we used a lot, free speech, that if you made a comment and people perhaps questioned it, you said, well, isn't there such a thing as free speech? Isn't there free speech in this country? So what has happened to that?
Well, free speech has been gagged. That's what's happened. Journalists have been gagged. Commentators have been gagged. You think twice before you say anything now. Oh, somebody might be offended.
All right, where do you take that to? Where is that complaint directed to and listened to and acted upon?
Yeah, well, I imagine.
Isn't that just as bad?
Yes, but if we said something that offended people's ears, they would take it to management and they'd be entitled to. But why can't we all just relax a bit and laugh at ourselves like we used to, and not take ourselves so seriously?
So give me the definition of free speech. Is that dead? Has that gone?
No, I said I don't believe it's dead.
I'm not asking you, but I'm just saying maybe that's par for the course. Maybe that's part of our life.
Not dead. It's been gagged.
Maybe.
That's very sad.
Vivian at Dingley. Good day, Vivian.
How are you going?
Hello, Vivian.
Hi, Phil. How are you?
Oh, we're wonderful, thanks.
I just thought I'd give you a ring and let you know something about magazines.
Yes.
Now, this might sound terrible, but I'm confessing. I read the magazines when I'm on the queue for the checkout, and I make sure I get on a long queue so I can have a good read.
What, at Woolworths or Coles or something?
Yeah, or the newsagents or anywhere like that.
All right.
And I might see, for example, an ad saying Leighton and Beck parting or something like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yes.
And so I'd have a look to see what's the news, or Mary and Frederick, something about Mary is arriving, so I'd be dying to see that. But I just read through a few of the things I want to see, and off I go, and I never buy a magazine.
Oh, so you use the supermarket as a library?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on you.
And no one has said anything yet, so... No, so I just thought I'd let you know that.
All right, Vivian, good. Okay.
Okay.
But invariably, if you do invest in any of these magazines, like New Idea, Woman's Day, you'll find identical articles in all of them.
And often contradicting each other.
Yes, in many cases.
So-and-so split in the opposing magazine, they're back together again.
That's right.
It's very confusing. But, there are a lot of specialist magazines on yachting and...
oh, yes. How they survive, I'll never know.
Thousands of magazines. Some will go by the wayside, surely. I would like to talk to you. Do you still read magazines? Have you been reading Cleo? Will you miss it after 44 years? Or have you given them away because they're too expensive and they're full of one-page ads? That's your problem. You think the magazines will be cheaper because of all the revenue they raise?
Think back on Women's Weekly, And the old chestnuts that would appear in there, the Dione Quins, who was it?
The quintuplets.
The Quinn, they're in every article, every Woman's Day,
You're
or
right.
every Woman's Weekly.
They were the Dion quintuplets.
Dione, I think they were.
They were. And of course you had on the inside back cover, you had for years and years the comic strip Mandrake.
Oh, yes, yes.
That was there.
But the articles always Sydney-centric, weren't they?
Oh yes, always something about a royal tour.
Dieter Cobb reporting on something from Sydney.
Yes, very much in there. But any royal tour too was covered in great detail by the Women's Weekly.
Every word of it.
Yeah.
28 to 11, 3-8. Okay, 24 minutes to 11, down to Baldwin now. Warren, is it Baldwin?
Good evening, Bruce and Phil.
G'day, mate.
Yeah, you're talking about magazines. You do remember the Australasian Post?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Very fondly.
Yes, the Etamuga Pope.
That's right.
Yes, and lots of... Well, most people don't realise that many of the magazines relied on freelance writers. And I did some freelance writing for Australasian Post. And one in particular, this will interest you, Bruce, because you used to impersonate this person.
Right, yes.
Norman Banks.
Oh, yes.
I actually visited Norman Banks. I was only about 18 years of age, and my father drove me to his house, and I wrote a story on how he started Carols by Candlelight.
Oh, interesting, yes.
And he spoke about it, and the history of it. We walked down St Kilda Road, and he saw a lady in a house, with the candles singing by the radio, and
That's right, yes.
he had an idea to start up. But I actually remember going to his den, and he had numerous records and folders full of lots of regalia from early days of radio.
Yes.
Fascinating person, but I do remember it vividly. And I called him at the time, and I said, "Did you read the article?" He said, "Yes, he did," and he said it was very accurate. So.
That's he would use a word like that.
Yes, he did, and I suppose there are many inaccurate magazine articles are written about celebrities. And
yes.
That's one thing I did. I always checked that the manuscript made sure that all the quotes were correct.
So, Warren, did you keep your writing going? Keep going in that world?
Well, I didn't. At the time I was hoping to do journalism, but I swung into psychology and HR sort of work. But I did actually work in the media industry, newspaper media, in the HR area. So I was working, with journalists, and I sort of freelance writing on occasion today. I also did a story on Peter Layla, the Eureka Stockade leader.
Yes, of course.
He lived in Church Street, Richmond, and his house was haunted, apparently. There were some suicides or something happening back then, and the current owners said they had creepy things going on in the house. So that became a page one splash and a 2 and 3 after that. So the Australasian Post was quite interesting because it took a lot of my articles, and they certainly had a lot of different stories of different interests of famous people and different... Yeah, it was a great magazine, but that folded up some years ago.
I think Peter Russell Clark did a bit of writing for them.
Yes, a lot of big names did. That folded up many years ago. The Bulletin, of course, folded up a long time ago.
Oh, yes, remember that.
Yeah, and that apparently started with poetry, Henry Lawson.
Yes.
Yes, so there's a lot of magazines that have folded over the years, which is unfortunate. But, And there was also one called Parade. You remember that one?
Yes, I do remember.
Yes.
You used to get it on the long-distance trains, and you'd go through all these different stories about different things, and that was great. You pick it up at the railway station for under $1 or something. So there's certainly a lot of magazines have folded, but there's new ones coming all the time too, but I can't keep up with them all now.
Good of you to ring in. Very interesting to get the insight there into Norman Banks' study there, Warren.
Yeah, great call, Warren. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Hey, thanks a lot, Warren.
Mm-hmm. John's at Mount Waverley. Bruce, hi. John.
Hi, guys. It's not what I rang about, but back in the 60s and 70s too, I think there was a magazine called Everybody's, wasn't there?
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, a weekly one, like Post and Pics and all that. That guy. The other day I saw something that may interest a lot of people, that's the age group that would listen to your show. That includes me in my 60s. I was in Harvey Norman's the other day looking for digital radios and so on, and I was also looking in the area where there's CD players, portable CD players and that, and unexpectedly I saw a couple of what looked like CD players, but they were cassette players, music cassettes.
Oh, you can still buy them then?
Yeah, I was surprised. Well, and good brand names. One was Phillips, and the other one I think was Sony or something like that.
You'd think there'd be no demand for that.
No, I was very surprised, you know.
Yeah.
If I would have got one, but I've already stocked up on about 2 or 3, you know, because I've got about 100 cassettes still, you know.
I'll bet you never use them.
Yeah, not lately, but I will because I bought them, you know, because I did like what was on them, you know. And one other thing, you two guys, if anybody could solve this mystery or query, I listen to the 6 o'clock news and flick between channel 7 and 9, which starts at 6. And watching the news, all of a sudden one might have a special, you know, how to clean your barbecue for Christmas, you know, for the season.
That's right.
Oh, this is something the others won't have.
Yes.
So you watch it and you flick back to the other channel and they've got a special on how to clean your barbecue. And what I'm wondering is, do these newsrooms spy on each other before they go to air to see what the content is?
No, what would happen, the PR company would send out a press release to all the TV stations, and they'd all cover the same story the same day.
Would they?
Yes, that's what happens, yes.
So you don't think there's any sort of spying on each other?
No.
In a light-hearted way?
No, and this time of the year it's a slow news day, not much happening locally. So they do a lot of magazine-type stories.
Yeah, there's a lovely report tonight about the Lost Animals homes having their weekend this weekend.
I thought that was very good, and what a discount those pets are being offered at.
Yes.
Yeah, well, when you think that, you know, they're desperate to find homes, it's a good, you know, a good idea, isn't it?
I think it's a marvellous idea, and people are, well, hopefully looking after, tending those cats and dogs as well as they should.
I think the dogs are going out at $50 each instead of $3.50.
Good on you, John. Thank you. Chris, good evening.
Hello, fellas.
Hi, Chris.
You wonder why domestic abuse and violence happens against women. Now, I never would participate in that. But what do you do in this situation? I'm hoping you protect my innocence as a victim. On November the 12th, my lady friend who I established a relationship over the previous 6 years, I picked up from Melbourne Airport. On Saturday the 14th, we get in a taxi after doing a 13-hour shopping on Friday, 13 hours, and then another 4 hours, and then on Saturday, and then a further 4 hours. But at lunchtime, we get in a taxi, and my lady friend, or my girlfriend as she was, been together for the first time, she said to the taxi driver, how would you like to come to Chris's place for a cup of coffee and have a lovely time and, you know, meet the new couple? Next thing you know, as I've explained to people who know me off air, that the activity that was happening right in front of me on my couch and in my spare room, and I was in shock. I never used no violence, no aggression, no threats of violence. I just waited till the taxi driver on his own terms got out of my place and left. I just said a few confronting words to the lady friend. What were you thinking? She said, well, he's got a business car, a house, cash and all that. So I was out of the equation. And then I rang the relevant taxi company to give me some initial form of compensation for $40 worth of taxi cab vouchers. And then the taxi service commission said, what would I like to resolve the issue? And I said, I'd like about $4,000 compensation. Victoria Police...
bet you would, yes. Go on.
And the Victoria Police... criminal investigation unit, Broadway Police Officer said they're breaking no laws, but there's no taxi person by that name or that identification to that taxi, so he's a road driver. So immediately he's in the wrong, isn't he?
Yeah, well, you'd think so, yeah. Okay, thank you, Chris. Court 2, 11 on Nightline as we catch up with the Herald Sun. And over to Michelle Ainsworth. Michelle, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Yes, page 1, please, of tomorrow's paper.
So page 1 is about one of Australia's richest families, the Smorgans, who back about 20 years ago made a $1.5 million donation to Peter Mac Cancer Centre, and they are now in a dispute because they would like to have the family name recognised for this donation on the outside of the new cancer hospital that's being built, but the hospital's being a bit reluctant, so a bit of a power grab there from the Smorgans.
All right. And what's inside?
Inside is day 2 of the exclusive James Heard tell-all when he explains what happened, as he puts it, the day all hell broke loose when the supplement scandal came to light.
Right.
And otherwise, it will be the real estate and the weekend lift out.
Oh, yeah, always good reading on Saturday. Thanks, Michelle.
Oh, Michelle, thank you. That's in the Herald Sun tomorrow morning. Thank you very much for that.
Goodbye.
Anne at Oak Park. Hello, Anne.
Oh, hello, Bruce and Phyllis.
Hello
Yes, Anne.
again, Anne.
My friend Bob has about between 50 and 100 very old cassette decks. He used to sit there and tape all the old movies. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
So, yeah, when we get bored, too much sport or whatever, we can revert to that because we've still actually got a machine we can play it on.
You're talking about videotapes, yes.
Yes. And it's a wonderful offer from the Lost Dogs Home, $50.
Yeah,
isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's absolutely marvellous.
Check it out. I think that's a deal over this weekend, yes.
All right, Anne, thank you very much for contacting us. Nice to hear from you. We'll go to Anne at Pakenham now.
Hi, Bruce and Phil.
Yes,
G'day.
Anne.
Hello, Anne.
I'm just ringing up about, it's a wonderful offer from the Lost Dogs Home and that.
Yes.
But I think a lot of people get dogs and cats and then they can't afford the vet bill, so, so the dogs end up back in the homes or whatever.
Yes, it's a good point you make, yes. Yeah.
Because in the last 6 months, my dog has cost about $600.
Yes.
And, it's really hard to, if you're on a pension or something like that.
Yeah, it's hard to make ends meet, isn't it? It's a shame, like they have a dental hospital for people who can't afford treatment. It's a pity there isn't an animal hospital offering special rates as well.
Yes. I think the vet bills are really hurt.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
And the cost of feeding your animal and medicines and all.
Oh, I don't find that a problem, but I do find the vet bills because she's got sort of a dermatitis.
Oh, yes.
And it comes and goes all the time.
And I think give credit to the Lost Dogs Home that they're giving the dogs and the cats an opportunity of another life and shifting out some of the stock there that has to be moved.
Otherwise, I'd be on death row, yes.
Well, yes.
Yes, it's terrific.
That's the whole point.
So take advantage of it this weekend. Cats are going dirt cheap.
Okay, our number is 96900 Anything you'd like to talk about? Maybe political correctness that we're talking about? Reuniting somebody for a new look at a television series?
And we said, will you miss Cleo magazine after 44 years? Or are you a bit over magazines altogether? Would you rather watch TV, perhaps, than read? 96900 693.
It's 6 to 11. Let's go to Ruth at South Melbourne before the passing parade. Yes, Ruth.
Hi, boys. A number of things. I still buy cassettes. I get them at the $2 shops and at Quality Records in Glenferrie Road because I tape a lot of radio documentaries and things.
I see, yes.
And also, for people who need to know, if you're a pension card holder or healthcare card holder, you get a big discount at the Lord Smith Animal Hospital in North Melbourne. And I think the RSPC and Burwood Highway give you a bit of a discount too.
Yeah, that's where they're rehousing the dogs cheaply at RSPCA. Yes.
Yes, in fact they are. That's where the deal is being, or the offer is being made.
Yes.
Okay, Ruth, thank you very much indeed for calling in. It's 5 to 11, 3AW.
And shortly we have the passing parade. And of course, Sunday night we come back for Remember When, and we're looking at old ads on TV and radio.
Hello again. This is John Doremus with the Passing Parade, the story of an ace private detective who operated in America's Wild West. Charles Siringo was a remarkable man in many ways. Cowboy, detective, author, he was tough, rough, and intemperate. Yet his sense of decency was so acute that when he became convinced the Pinkerton National Detective Agency by whom he was employed was graft-ridden, he did everything in his power to smash the organization. I'll be back to tell you more after this message. Charles Siringo was born in Texas in the mid-1850s. He spent most of his early life as an itinerant cowboy. Soon after turning 30, he developed a burning ambition to write a book about his experiences. Published under the title A Texas Cowboy, it met with instant success. During the months he was working on the book, Siringo married a 16-year-old girl who bore him a child. Following its publication, he moved with his family to Chicago, where he applied for a job with the Pinkerton Detective Agency. After helping to round up the anarchist perpetrators of the Chicago Union Rally massacre of 1886. He was transferred to the agency's Denver branch. Operating from there, he brought many wanted killers to book, broke up a number of bandit gangs, and recovered a fortune in stolen loot for clients of the agency. His reputation grew, and the name Siringo was feared throughout the West. In 1891, John Hammond, president of the Idaho Mine Owners Association, was having industrial troubles in the silver mine district. Fearing anarchist activities, he asked Pinkertons to assign the famous Siringo to the case. Taking a job at a mine at Gem in Idaho, Siringo mixed so well with his fellow workers that within 2 months, he was elected minute secretary of the local branch of the union. One night at a union meeting, members openly discussed a motion that John Hammond be assassinated. Siringo had concrete evidence against those involved. As time passed, Siringo became increasingly dissatisfied with Pinkertons. He believed the agency was rigging evidence and turning a blind eye to evidence obtained by force. He knew also that there were men on the Pinkerton payroll who were nothing more than professional killers. In 1908, he resigned from the agency and devoted his time to writing a book entitled Pinkerton's Cowboy Detective, an expose of the agency. Rumors of the allegations it contained spread all over the country, and Pinkertons realized that unless something was done quickly, its reputation would be seriously damaged. Pressure was exerted on the publisher, and despite Siringo's protests, the book was watered down. Its title was changed to A Cowboy Detective, and it was published as a work of fiction. Enraged, Siringo set to work on another book, Two Evils, Pinkertons and Anarchism. No one would publish it, so he had it printed at his own expense and sold copies personally. For a time after that, he worked as a Texas Ranger and then as a sheriff in New Mexico. He died soon after his retirement on October 19th, 1928. Our time is up till we meet again for another chapter in the Passing Parade. This is John Doremus. As always, thank you so much, and goodbye for now.
3AW Weather. Thanks to the Ian Reid Vendor Advocacy, we now cross to the Weather Bureau, and Rod Dixon's over there tonight. G'day, Rod.
Good evening.
And another lovely day today, Rod.
Yeah, it was quite nice today, although reasonably cool, with just 19 degrees recorded at 2:23 this afternoon with a southerly wind.
What's the overnight low looking like, Rod?
Yeah, look, it's set to be the coldest night of the year so far, with 12 degrees expected minimum in the city. Most of the suburbs, though, down to around 10 or 11 degrees out in the outer suburbs, and even as low as 7 degrees out in the Yarra Valley. So, a bit of a chilly start tomorrow. But we'll see pretty much a fine and mostly sunny day to follow. There could be a little bit of cloud about during the morning, but then a sunny afternoon. Fairly light winds, turning southerly and freshening up during the afternoon with the sea breeze. Up to 24 degrees in the city, a touch warmer over northern suburbs, around 25, 26 degrees, and maybe just a touch cooler about Bayside suburbs, around 22, 23 degrees.
Okay, and warmer Sunday, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty good weekend in terms of weather. Warm and sunny on Sunday, mostly sunny. The winds will tend round to the north, that's why we'll get up to 31 degrees on Sunday after a low of 14. And then a bit warmer the early part of next week with those northerly winds on Monday pushing the temperature up to 34 degrees. Looks like we'll get a change through late on Tuesday, but getting up to 37. So Tuesday's the hot day this week.
Right.
And we could see a little bit of shower activity around for Wednesday, but probably not much, but a cooler 25 degrees.
All right, Rod, thank you very much. Just beware of that 37 degrees on that Tuesday. Gee, that'll sneak up on us.
Yes, it will. That's a surprise.
Okay, a low of 12 degrees, coldest night of the year so far tonight. Fine and sunny tomorrow. A top of 24 degrees and a warmer weekend on the way, a warmer Saturday.
Good night for a sleep tonight.
The Clio is finishing. They're collapsing. I don't know why. What's happened, Phil?
After 44 years, I think subscriptions are down, Bruce. People just aren't spending $8 or $9 on a glossy magazine.
I suppose you're right. Who was the first Clio?
Bachelor of the Week.
Were they bachelors
Yes,
or
they were.
they cheese club? What was the name of them?
I think it was called the Cleo Bachelor of the Week.
Was it the
or
Bachelor?
Bachelor of the Month.
And they generally had, I think, a pot of hydrangeas in front of a strategic spot.
Yes.
Maybe their face.
Yes, maybe you're right.
Can you tell us, have a guess who the first Clio model was? Don't say anything. If you're ringing in on a topic, just give us a guess who you think the first Clio model was.
How good is that?
And we'll exchange ideas. I've got a fair idea.
I have an idea too, but I'll save it for now.
Okay, as you ring in 96900 693, you might like to ring in on the magazine that you miss most or that you subscribe to, and perhaps Mum did all those years ago, and you keep that tradition going.
Yeah. And 96900 693. Hi to 3AW Wangaratta, 2QN Deniliquin, those tuned to us on DAB+, phone apps, or on the internet.
Sally of Troyton. G'day, Sally.
Hi, Sally. Hi, Sally. Hi, Phil. I want to talk to you, Phil.
Yes, Sally.
Jan Gash.
Yes.
How is she?
Sadly, we lost her about 2 years ago. Sally?
Oh, did you?
Yes, and we talked a lot. Bruce and I were very dear friends with Jan. We spoke a lot about it at her passing. And in fact, her funeral was down in Rosebud, and I was asked to speak at the funeral.
Oh, I'm so sorry. She was I didn't know. She was a customer of mine in North Croydon, and you used to go down to her house and have a roast lamb.
Yes, she loved living out there, and later on she moved down to a retirement village in Rosebud, as you might know.
I know that, yeah. But all she talked about was she had a bit of an eye problem, and I guess I was ready to retire. I'm 66 now, and but I didn't hear much other than I am hearing now.
Oh, well, of course, I would have told you sooner, but I wasn't in touch with you. But just for those not in the know, Jan Gash was the makeup director at Channel 9.
Right.
From years
That's right.
And we all loved her, Sally.
And Andrew?
Andrew, yes, he predeceased her several years earlier.
Yes, he was a beautiful man.
Oh, I'm sorry to bring you the bad news.
Yes.
All right. Sorry about that, Sally. It is very sad news and very abrupt, isn't it, when you hear of someone that you know so well to have been taken from us.
That's a shock for
She
Sally.
was greatly loved, though, and I knew her very, very well at Channel 9 and later at Channel 10.
Yes, we all cherished her company.
Okay, Sally, thank you. Tom at Northfield, good evening.
Yeah, hi guys, how you doing?
Yes, Tim.
I just sort of wanted to speak about when you were saying early doors about free speech with that presenter.
Yes.
Yes, go on.
I'm just really angry with him actually, because when he raised the sugar tits or whatever and about his drinking and whatever, that was fine because he's got history of that and he has to accept that. But when he said he'd rather have a drink with Ralph Harris than him, now Ralph Harris has been convicted of a tamperer. Now,
No, it wasn't Rolf Harris. He said he would rather have a drink with Mel Gibson than Bill Cosby.
Sorry.
Yes.
The same thing. He's been, what's he been?
Well, he's been accused of dilly-dallying.
And whatever. But anyway, that's the point I'm trying to get at, guys. Is that it's a pretty, if he's found guilty, it's a very, very low act. Now, Mel's, or anybody shouldn't be accused of that, surely.
No, Ricky's a bit too smart for his own good.
Yeah, well, Look, I was sort of thinking to myself, how would anybody like to say there's some convicted rapist and they put your name with that guy? Wouldn't you be filthy on that?
Hey, by the way, Mel Gibson had a good comeback when he replied to Ricky Gervais.
Yeah.
He said, when I see you, Ricky, it reminds me it's time for my colonoscopy.
Yeah, I know. Well, I would have liked, when he said that, I would have been rapt if Mallet went outside and punched him straight in the face.
Yes.
Anyway, that was, because free speech is great, but by Jobs, you can't be, it's like mud sticks to walls.
Oh, yes, and you've got to be very, very careful where that mud is thrown. Thank you. To close down as a newspaper, as a magazine, who was the first Clio centrefold, as we recall? 96900 Robin at Box Hill. Good evening.
Good evening, Bruce and Phil. How are you?
Yeah, hi, welcome, Robin.
Yeah, a friend of mine just rang and said she thought the first centrefold was Jack Thompson.
That's the one.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, spot on, Robin.
It was Jack Thompson, was it really? I laughed. I said, I can't imagine Jack Thompson being a centrefold.
That was 44 years ago.
Oh, that's why I can't imagine it then.
We're going to give you a Pancake Parlour voucher.
Oh, thank you, Bruce.
The Pancake Parlour open 24 hours at High Point, Doncaster and Malvern East.
And the other reason I rang to say was that when I think it was John from Mount Waverley rang and he was talking about cassette players. Well, cassettes are back. They've come back.
All right.
They're actually, a lot of the bands are releasing their albums on cassette, and vinyl has come back. And they think it will stay. It's not just a flash in the pan. And they're also, a place called Globe Books is releasing all of the classics in, like the bound proper, not paperbacks. And they're doing Shakespeare, and they're doing a series of books on the books that movies were based on.
Oh, yes?
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
So it'd be worth having a look out for those for a gift for someone.
All right, Robin, you hold the line for your gift, your prize, and just hold on, just be a little bit patient there. Thank you, Robin. Peter at Airport West.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Yeah, so look, I was going to say it was Jack Thompson too, but I can remember one of the shows doing a bit of a show on Jack Thompson at the time, and he was sort of like the playboy of the time. And,
very much so.
Yeah, and he had two girlfriends, and he couldn't marry both of them, so
he lived with them.
He lived with both of them.
And were they sisters?
Yeah.
They could have been,
Yes, they
actually.
were,
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, yes, it was before his time, sort of thing. I think bit of a Casanova.
Yes, indeed. Yes, he was, and a great actor too, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, good call. Thanks, Peter.
Is that all you wanted to say?
Peter?
Okay.
Sorry?
Is that all you wanted to say, Peter?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Thank you for calling Chrissy at Somerville. Good evening, Chrissy.
Yes, good evening, Phil and Bruce. I'm a first-time caller.
Yes.
I was just ringing up about the centrefold for Cleo. I actually thought it was Norman Yam because I just looked after him. I'm not going to mention the hospital, but about 4 years ago, and he brought in the Cleo magazine, and he was in it. But I'm not really sure. Maybe he was, one after Jack Thompson.
Yes, could
I
well,
thought it was him.
Could well be.
Yeah, it was Norman Yam.
Oh, yeah, no, but Jack was the first, yes.
All right.
All right.
Thanks a lot,
All right,
boys.
Chrissy, thank you. Craig at Mornington. Hello, Craig.
Yeah, hello, Bruce and Phil. How are you going?
G'day, mate.
I would have picked Jack Thompson too, actually. I'm old enough to remember that edition of the magazine. Jez, when I chatted to you last night, after I hung up, I rekindled an old memory. Can I tell you a little family story? Funny anecdote?
Yeah.
So, I'm 9 years old. We've got trail bikes, my older brother and my dad and I, and we're going far up on Uncle Brian and Auntie Rosemary's property in Benalla. And we're riding around his farm property, and it's all ploughed and the fields are ready for the next harvest. And down the bottom, near the highway, is a well, an old-fashioned well. And I go and check it out one day on my own, and I noticed there's two giant snakes in there. I can't remember what they were. They were big black snakes or brown snakes or whatever. They were bloody big. And I go up, a little 9-year-old kid, I go, Dad, Uncle Brian, there's snakes in the well. And Uncle Brian goes, no, They'd be old hoses that are in there. And I go, no, they're moving. And he didn't believe me. So Dad and Stephen come down with me. And my father, and Bruce, I say this affectionately, yourself and my father are in similar appearance and stature and dialogue, you know. You remind me a lot of my father.
I think you've written to me, Craig, haven't you? And
I've spoken to you before about that, but I haven't written. But,
yes.
But you do remind me of my dad. And anyway, so Dad's a real character, you know. He's in the Nasos and everything when he was a kid, and Boy Scouts and all that. So we get down there and they believe me, and they see these snakes. And there's two, I think they were tiger snakes, from memory. So Dad gets my older brother, Stephen. He's 5 years older than me, so he's about 14. And he gets this branch with a fork, and we get a rope on it and put a lasso on the end of this fork. And he's got my brother hanging in this well, boys, from his waist down, with the rope and this branch. And Dad's got a shovel, and he's ordering Stephen to lasso the heads of these tiger snakes, because if anyone fell in the well, you'd die, you'd be bitten to death. So he had to do the right thing, and back in the day. And Stephen lassoes the first one, and Dad gets it. He goes, put it against the wall, son. Hitting it over the head with a shovel, as you did in the old days. Then they get the second one and do that, and we hung them on the fence, and Uncle Brian never doubted me after that.
Yes.
But my father was just so like, oh, you do this, and get him around the neck there, and he's pulling him out. And it was a scene that just had to be seen.
And, you know, these days you wouldn't be allowed to do that. Snakes are a protected species.
But he'd be an expert, old Dad, wouldn't he? He'd know exactly how to fling that snake around, Craig. Good on you, mate. Thank you for the story. Good fun. Bernard, good evening.
Gentlemen.
Hello.
I know who the first model was.
Yeah.
Cleopatra and Mark Antony.
Ah, you're right.
Clever.
They are the first.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, Bernard.
Shortened.
No song tonight.
No way, no.
We've been shortchanged.
24 past 11.
Hello to you, John, at Hallam.
That's right, yes, Phil. Look, I'm interested in finding out, I think at the end of the program every Friday night, I think you play a song, I think it's by a Melbourne singer by the name of Kane Alexander.
Yeah, we play it every alternate Friday night. It's called Here's to the Heroes.
So is that actually the title of the CD, is
That's
it?
the name of the song, yes.
No, it's of a compilation CD originally of different artists, John.
Okay.
But if you went into a record shop, they could perhaps find it for you on their computer.
Because I thought that might have been the title, but I did go into, I think it was a JB Hive.
Yeah, no, it's not the title of the album. It's a single song on the album.
Here's to the Hero.
The John Dunbar theme
John.
from Dances with Wolves.
Robert Elwood, good evening, Rob.
I just wondered, you talking about the lady was right, Norman Yem was second, but why aren't we, with the Playboy?
Yeah, but we're talking about the first was Jack Thompson.
Yes. The Cleo stuff. Why hasn't anyone brought Karen Kinney up?
Brought up what? Speak more clearly.
Karen Kinney, who was the first Australian Playboy girl.
Oh, is that true?
Oh, yes. Gee,
I've forgotten that.
It was only a year later. I've still got an original copy of it. I think it was 1976 or something.
There's a few memories there.
Yeah. All right, Rob, thanks for the memories. Karen Kinney.
Very good, Rob. Marilyn at West Rosebud. Yes, Marilyn.
Hi, Bruce and Phil.
G'day, Marilyn.
I was thinking of the lady that was upset, and that I've written a poem, and it's called Don't Cry.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Do not weep for me, for I am sound asleep. My guardian angels will surround you as you weep. For I will always watch down upon loved ones in my life. We are together, my hubby and I, reunited as man and wife. What gifted memories that linger in our hearts, never decease and never more will part. Be happy for us, for we are God's pure white doves. Me and my honey bunch will always be in love. So thank you for remembering us. As you spoke tonight, never will we forget you all. This is our delight. God bless Marilyn.
Oh, that's wonderful. You wrote that in the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so clever, Marilyn, so inspired.
It's 11:30, and we'd love to hear from you on 96900 693, 96900 693, reuniting for a TV special on Friends, which is being mooted. Is it all over? When is it all over for a television show to be finished, dead and buried? What offends you? Ricky Gervais said some offensive things at the Golden Globes. Are we offended anymore?
Yeah, and you know, would you like to see, for example, MASH revived for one episode, Bruce? Would that appeal to you? Folks, what show would you like to see come back, even if it's a one-off? 96900 693.
Okay, we're on the last rung here, 25 to 12. We'd love to hear from you on 96900 693.
Yeah, anything under the sun, even what are your plans for the weekend?
Well,
Share them with us.
Some of the topics we've discussed so far.
Yeah, about Cleo magazine folding. Will you miss it? Do you still subscribe to magazines, or are they too expensive for
Well,
you?
remember when magazines went from Women's Weekly and Women's Day and the Daily Mirror and all that to Cosmopolitan? And,
Yes.
Slightly saucy, weren't they?
Yes, they were. Some of them were very much so. You know, it's still centre sections. But
we never thought they'd last or flash in the pan.
no, but they did survive somehow.
Yes, yes.
Steve, what have you got to say?
Hi, Phil. Bruce, how are you?
Yeah, good, Steve.
I just want to say what a sort of strange time of the year this last week has been. Like, people coming home from holidays, people still on holidays. I went to see an old friend of mine in Richmond the other night, on Monday night. I said, I'll meet you at the Corner Hotel. So I get the train in under the station there. The Corner Hotel was closed.
Oh, yes? Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I think it was a warm night. It was a beautiful night, and there was just nobody around.
Yes.
You know, and then I got on the tram on the really hot day, and it was 42 degrees outside. I got on the tram, else the weekend it was about 52 degrees inside the tram.
Oh. It would be.
It didn't have any air conditioning. The new ones do, but this one didn't.
Oh.
And the poor people in the tram, I should have taken a photo, they were whooping.
Oh, they would have.
And I had a bag, a huge bag with me, and I thought, this is not happening, you know. And now, tonight, it's going to be the coldest night of the year.
Yeah, so far, yes.
Yeah.
It is insane. Anyway, it's great to hear you back and everything, you know.
Yeah, good on you, Steve. Thank you very much for joining us tonight and making a call. But it's like you say, hotels, restaurants, they're closing. Not closing because they're going out of business, but just it's this time of year. And the city itself, you drive through Melbourne, and it's like on the beaches being filmed.
You're right, and things really don't get back to normal till after the Australia Day weekend.
22 minutes to midnight, a low of 12 degrees, cold morning on the way, a high of 24 tomorrow, fine and sunny forecast, and a warm weekend is looming. Who's there? Gray at Mont Albert?
Yes, Gray, hello.
Oh, good evening. Thank you, Bruce and Phil. Look, I won't keep you. You're talking about the subject tonight. But my point is that I've been reading. Buddy Holly actually played here in Melbourne in 1958. I'd love whether you gentlemen or any listener can tell me what that concert was like.
Okay, yes, there's no doubt he played here very shortly before his passing.
He did, but my point is that he played here. I'd love to hear from one of your listeners, who's obviously older than I am. I'm in my late 60s.
Yeah.
But I'd love to hear them, well, I've probably going at the wrong time, but perhaps remember when. But I was just reading this tonight, and Buddy Holly was here. What a brilliant artist he was.
Yes, he was. He was a huge artist.
Right.
And he would have been part of a headline act, wouldn't he?
For Lee Gordon, the promoter. They're probably
Did he really? But, sorry, go on, Phil.
Well, let me tell you, on the bill that night would have been about 6 well-known artists. He would have been one of them, and probably sang about 3 songs. Great.
He played with the piano madman, you know, Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yes.
Right.
But I'd love to hear from one of your listeners who's a bit older than I am, with every respect. I mean, with every respect. I'd love to hear them, well, call you back sometime and remember when or wherever it is. But I'd love to hear just how good this chap was. He inspired the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and everybody else.
Well, stay tuned. Someone
All right,
might phone in.
well, preferably tonight. That would be an idea to ring in on 96900 693. I think it's a rarity that if you went along to see or hear Buddy Holly at that time, that you would be on the phone now, 96900 693. It'd be lovely if you were.
Let me ask you, hypothetically, if he was still alive, would he be as big today as he's become in passing? Like people like Elvis and so on?
It's a very good question you make.
Yeah.
The ones you always talk about, the ones we always say,
Yeah.
who are the leading luminaries from those days, are no longer with us. Elvis Presley, Buddy Holly, Big Bopper, Richie Valens.
We speak in hushed tones of James Dean.
Well, did he have many hits?
No, but I'm talking about celebrities.
Yeah,
and
but
he
not,
was
not
one.
as a hit maker.
Well, an actor.
The Big O, Roy Orbison. These are huge now, but only in passing,
Yes,
sadly.
seems to be, yes, they've become legends.
I can't think of anyone who's living from that era that's as big as they were.
No, true enough, yes. Victoria's there, Bruce. Hello, Victoria.
Good evening, Bruce and Phil. It's lovely to speak to you.
Thank you.
Just on your topic of bringing back some TV shows, you know what I would love to see brought back for the younger generation would be Humphrey B. Bear.
Oh, they'd love it.
Yeah, I recall when they took him off, and also Fat Cat, and I was just devastated as a young child and when they took them off the air. And you know what, I wouldn't mind also if we could have a reprisal of a really great late night talk show that we used to have.
Oh, that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, like a Saturday, or even like a Rove. But you know, we don't have any of those anymore, do we?
No, we certainly do not, and not for a long time.
No, it's kind of sad. You get all the American ones coming through, and yeah, sure, they're great, but we need an Aussie one, I think.
I agree with you. I agree. No, I think, and your idea of reviving some of the children's personalities is a great idea.
There's nothing like it now. There really isn't.
You know, Mr. Squiggle and all those wonderful characters.
I was thinking Mr. Squiggle as well. You know, great memories of childhood, and there really isn't anything like it these days for kids. Sure, we've got some good programming, but not like that.
And, you know, these shows would not cost a fortune either, you know.
You're right. And you know what? I think you two would be great at hosting a late-night talk show on the TV.
Oh, that's lovely, Victoria. Thank you so
we're
much.
just waiting for the phone to ring now.
Yes, and there's engaged signals all over the place.
Thanks.
All right, Victoria, thank you very much. John at Werribee, good evening.
Good evening, Bruce. How are you?
Yes, good, thanks.
Someone rang in about the Buddy Holly show. I was there.
Oh, good on you.
And it was fantastic. And there was Paul Anka was on.
Yes.
Jodie Sands.
Oh.
Jerry Lee Lewis. And I remember Jerry Lee Lewis was singing his song. He kicked the stool back, lifted his foot up over the piano and kicked a great chunk of wood out of the Beckstein.
Oh, no.
Ah, dear me.
Oh, it was fantastic.
And how many songs did Buddy do?
Oh, he probably did about 3 or 4.
Yes.
And I think from memory that Johnny O'Keefe was there as well.
That'd be true, yes. I always used a local act.
What a terrific lineup.
And he stole the show.
Oh, he would.
Well, there you are for Gray of Mont Albert. He'll be
Very
thrilled
good.
to know.
And a good crowd there, John, I suppose.
Packed out.
Yeah.
We came up from Geelong. We got the Transupway bus, and we were dropped off at the front door, and a great night.
Of those, my favourite would have been Paul Anka. Of the ones you mentioned.
What year would that have been, John?
I think it was about 58.
58, yes.
And of course, Buddy only lasted about a month after that, and then he went down in that terrible plane crash.
That plane crash, they all died, didn't they?
Correct.
In Lubbock, Texas.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for that, John. Fascinating.
No problem.
Great.
Thank you so much for ringing, John.
Yes.
Good of you. Jenny at Pakenham. Hello, Jenny.
Hello, Bruce and Phil. How are you going?
Hi, Jenny.
I'm only able to speak to you very late at night now because we've got people ill in South Africa and England, and I've spent so much time on the phone tonight.
Oh, I see. All right. That's
However,
nice.
here I am.
Good.
I put the radio on just as Bernard was hanging up, and I heard you say, "Oh, no song tonight." Is he not going to sing anymore?
Oh, yeah, of course he is. He can sing whatever he wants to, and he knows that.
Oh, I don't know the story.
Oh, no.
No, he just chose to hang up, that's all.
Because I wanted to say I don't know where that phrase comes from. It comes from, if music be the food of life, play on.
Yeah.
Hang on, Bernard. And I want to tell you something which really dazzled me a bit. I was talking to my sister in Cape Town, and she lived in Australia for 19 years and went to Canada in 2004 and for a year, and then went back to Cape Town to live. And I said to her, I spoke to Bruce and Phil about my the problem with the phone hacker the other night, and she says to me, do they still play that lovely song at 12 o'clock midnight and the stars are new? And, you know, I could have fallen over. She's the most staid person in the whole world. And I said, Murray, did you listen to Bruce and Phil? And she said, yes.
Isn't that amazing?
I was so excited. I thought there's another family member like me.
Oh,
beautiful.
Good to hear, Jenny.
Beautiful.
I wanted to ask you, was Tom Jones not a peer of Elvis and the Orbisons and so on? Because he's doing well now again, isn't he?
Oh, he's a good example of someone who was in that era. Yes, you're right.
Yes. Anyway, I'll always love listening to you. I get on late, but I enjoy it, and pray that you'll get your hours back someday.
Okay, darling.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
Good
Jenny.
night.
Good night, Jenny. Thank you for calling.
Bye.
To Hawthorne, Vanessa, good evening.
Hello, Bruce and Phil. How you going?
Yeah, good.
What's your story?
Regarding TV revival, when I was little, coming out before around 4:30, 5 o'clock before the news, there'd be I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, and the Brady Bunch. And I thought they were such good shows, and still are today if you watch them. And I think they were innocent shows.
Yes, they were. They were.
And they gave people a good laugh, whereas the world seems to be so serious today.
Yes, yes.
And I think it will be a break to have these, from all the cooking shows, some of the quiz shows, just, to relax people a bit, just to wind down after work if they get home.
But why revive these shows when you can watch the originals?
Well, you could on the internet.
Yes, or Foxtel, yeah.
Yeah, but not everyone has the internet.
Well, we're talking about reviving TV shows of the past.
Yeah.
Okay, they're your favourites. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
All right, Vanessa.
A nice suggestion, Vanessa. Thank you for calling and a good couple of suggestions there. Zahara, good evening. Zahara?
Yep.
You're on Nightline with Bruce and Phil.
How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Okay. Some people would have thought I should try the Green River, so
Yes.
I just thought I'd give it to you quickly a little bit.
All right. Tell us.
It's the Green River song.
Oh, yes, let's hear it.
Okay, let's hear it, yes. Lovely. Thank you, Zahara. Let's go to Karen at Sunshine. Karen, good evening.
Hi, Bruce and Phil. I just heard someone say they didn't know whether, quote, if music be the food of life, play on. I think it's from Shakespeare, and I think it's from Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, well, could be. I've heard it before, yeah.
Yeah, I know it's a Shakespearean play.
Okay.
And reviving shows, they should make another show like The Flying Nun. That was a good show.
Yeah, Sally Phil, that was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was amusing, the movie shows.
Yeah,
those sort of shows.
very wholesome, wasn't it?
They're all good shows, yeah.
These lines are called It's Good to Be the Woman. It's good to be a woman because they got off the Titanic first. Taxis stop for them. They don't look like a frog in a blender when dancing. No fashion faux pas they make could even rival the Speedo. If women forget to shave, no one has to know. They can congratulate their teammates without even touching their rears. They have the ability to dress themselves. They can talk to people of the opposite sex without having to picture them naked. If women marry someone 20 years younger, we're all aware that they look like an idiot. There are times when chocolate really can solve all of our problems. Women never regret piercing their ears. Women can fully assess a person just by looking at their shoes. And they can make comments about how silly men are in their presence because the men aren't listening anyway.
Copyright restricts distribution of this piece by any means of duplication.
Well, that's it for a week of Nightline. Thank you for your company. We open up the floodgates for Australia Overnight nationally with Andrew McLaren and Simon Owens. That's after midnight. And we're back on Sunday for a look at the old commercials through the years.
It's going to be wonderful. A full 4-hour show with Bruce and Phil Sunday night.
Yeah, so look forward to seeing you then. Good night, Samuel. Good night, Carter. Good night, Amelia, Emily and Charlotte. Sweet Ella Grace, little William Oliver, and Sophia Grace. I'm Bruce Mansfield.
And I'm saying goodnight, Bianca Johnson. Thank you for producing the show tonight. We've had a wonderful week of Nightline, and we can't wait for Sunday night.
Indeed, you're right. And that's the way she went today.